We're back with the podcast. It's also the B.A. edition again. Derek's out of the loop, and we took a hiatus last week.
Did you miss us?
Welcome to the B.A.D podcast with Derek, Brad, and Austin, where we talk about random shit, and that's it.
Okay, let's go.
I really can't help but smile every time I hear that. Okay, let's go.
It's great.
Yeah, I enjoy it. So we're here and we decided, hey, let's talk about Cookie Fest since it's in, 4 days?
23 hours.
You can do a countdown.
49 minutes. 46.
22 hours.
22 hours.
And 46 minutes. Yeah, to the dunk. Yep. Wow. So 3 days, 22 hours and 46 minutes until we dunk.
Have you thought about like the whole process yet? Like, let's say there's people in line to meet people and whatnot, and like, okay, let's go dunk. Everybody leaves their spot. They do the dunk, and then what? Like, are people going to stick around? Are people going to like, have you thought about that yet? Or like what you are expecting people to do?
Yeah. So last week during the meeting that we have with like Derek and Ashley every week, we went through all that stuff and we kind of talked about how the flow was going to be. We're actually not gonna like really do like, I think what we decided on, which really this is Ashley that's playing this out. I don't think we're not gonna let people line up for the stuff, or we're gonna take the lines and like grab them in the groups that they're in and they stay in that line and come forward. I think that's kind of what we decided on, because for Guinness, you have to have the entire area roped off for it to count.
Correct.
So we either have to, if they're dunking in the entire Aaron Besson Park, we have to rope off the entire park, which is just not feasible.
Yes.
So what we've decided is that small circular area in front of the stage is going to be gated off now.
Oh, not the whole thing?
Not the whole thing.
Oh, Jesus. Thank the Lord.
Yeah.
That probably you guys
saved us a lot. Yeah, it's very nice. And everyone has wristbands, and there's police and security. So, so that will help if someone comes in that's not supposed to be in there. Mm-hmm. Also, we are like going to be responding to people on Twitch today. So if you hear us like talking randomly through people, there are people watching on Twitch. So Casey Hessler said, "Hey, good luck at Cookie Fest. Hope you guys can break the record." Really appreciate that. That's actually what my biggest concern now at this point is. Like, we have vendors, we have fun activities, like everything's there. Now it's just like the actual breaking of the record. Yeah. So back to what you were talking about there. So there's going to be 4 entrances into that circular area, and one person on each side of the entrance. So 8 people will be handing cookie and milk to people as they come in.
Yep.
Then the judges will like queue up their 50 people. All the wristbands will be numbered and things like that. So we'll like get everyone in their like little groups of 50 essentially.
Okay.
And then the dunk will be, I guess this is what I get to tell everyone, like 3, 2, 1 dunk. Like, I'm pretty stoked about that. Like,
yeah. So when they can go into that circle at any time.
Well, we'll open up that circle probably about like 12:15, 12:30. We'll start gathering people.
Okay.
There's going to be a wait. At the end of the day, like, you can't make it so everyone just like walks up and can dunk at the same time. There's probably going to be like this 30, 45 minute period of handing out the cookies and milk, like getting everyone ready to go. We've even talked about what if someone needs to go to the bathroom before, you know, it's just things that we have to do. But we'll have to roll with the punches on it. So
open the pit.
So yeah, I know. It's just like, hold it unless you really, really got to go. And if you really got to go, you better sprint.
Go before.
Yeah.
You should tell everybody, go before. But yeah, I mean, I feel like if there's a lot of people there, then it's going to be hectic. But
yeah, you can, like controlled chaos is okay, right? Like as long as it goes smoothly. At the end of the day, like you're always going to have, you know, things that are difficult.
Yeah.
I best I didn't update this. There you go. All right.
I just ate dinner in the sky. Come on.
Yeah. Dinner is whatever time you want it to be, you know? Maybe I have dinner at 3 p.m. and then I have supper at 8 p.m.
Yeah. I have 2 or 3 dinners technically. So
yeah. But yeah, I think my biggest concern at this point is just like having enough people show up to break the record. You know, we say 4,000, but really it's only 3,300, which, you know, I mean, that's a big difference between 3,300 people and 4,000.
That's 700 people, which is a lot.
But I will tell you, we have sold 1,200 tickets so far.
Good.
Which I think is very good considering the event is so far away. And I know majority of people will buy their tickets like I expect Thursday and Friday to be big ticket sales, and Saturday morning
Walk-ups.
And then actually walk up to the event. I wouldn't be surprised if 800 people walked up
Yeah.
to the event.
Yeah.
Just because like, well, there's like older people that don't want to buy stuff online. And then there's some people that were like, we'll just see if we make it that way, and then they'll make it that way.
And it's not really like a sellout event, so there's no pressure to purchase. It's not like you're limiting tickets.
Well,
It's
if we get it to 8,000, we have to stop people.
Yeah.
Or 5 or 6,000, because we don't have security for more than like 5 or 6,000. So
Okay.
we actually have to. We can't let anyone else in at that point.
Yeah.
We also can't break the record over 5,000. If you have more than 5,000 people,
You need more judges.
You have to have
More
a
Guinness
third
people.
party judge.
Oh, okay.
You have to pay people to judge. They won't let you judge yourself.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it is.
So if there's 6,000 people there, they can only count 5,000.
I've learned so much about Guinness. We can only count 4,999. Once the 5,000th birthday rolls it. So the most we can set but that's still a huge difference. Like going from 3,200 or something like that to 499, like you smashed the record at that point.
Yeah, it's 1,700.
Yeah. I mean, it's over a 50% growth in the record. So, but yeah, I just, I learned a lot. Guinness charges you way too much money, in my opinion, to break a Guinness World Record. So if we do it next year, I definitely will not involve Guinness nearly as much as we did.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely not involve them and just be like, we did it, we broke because you know the number, count the people, I guess, and like, say it. It's like,
well,
holding the title.
We can unofficial and official, right? So
correct.
Officially 4,999, unofficially like whatever it was, like 5,400. Fan Mode Gaming said, wish we could be there. I wish you could be here too. Sarah said, so sorry I couldn't come. I believe Fat and Weird will break the record. Well, I'm glad that so many people believe in us. There's a lot of people that said they couldn't make it, but I'm hoping that if we turn to an annual thing, people can obviously.
Yeah, I was talking to Aubrey about that when we were going to CrossFit one day, and I was like, what'd be cool is like after this year is like you invite other like cookie companies and stuff and make it like a legit cookie fest.
Right,
like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and do like who has the best flat cookie, who has the like most like craziest cookie flavor or something like that. I think that'd be fun as well.
Turning it into like a food festival almost.
Yeah, almost like a carnival.
Festival. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we could do it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's like pickle festivals. There's like
bacon festivals. There's a bacon one in Iowa that's huge.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Is it in Des Moines?
People. Yeah.
Is it? Do you think do you need to be in a big city to pull it off, or do you think that we could pull it off?
I think we could pull it off here
because it's a destination.
Yeah, and if you have it a time kind of like around the spring break time, people will come here for spring break and that.
Right. Yeah. The only difficult part about making something during spring break is the cost of like coming to vacation in Panama City goes up. So that's why I chose the last weekend in February, because literally when that rolls to March, so on Tuesday, you'll notice that hotel prices just start screaming up.
Yeah. Like
the difference goes from like $100 a night place to like, I actually checked during March, the cheapest hotel that you can find is $180. And I'm talking like
ratty.
Yeah. Like
Red Roof Inn.
Yeah. Like not hotels you want to stay at,
Yeah. I feel bad for my parents. Last time they came, I put them in the Red Roof Inn because it was the cheapest.
Was it bad?
Yeah, they hated it.
What was so bad about it? I've stayed
know.
in some pretty bad hotels.
Same. My dad and I had to switch hotels once on a recruiting visit because it was so bad.
Yeah.
It was like really, really bad.
Yeah. I mean, when I drove from Seattle to Houston, I drove like as long as I could drive, and I just stopped at the hotel I found. And I remember like stopping at a hotel one time and being like, well, this ain't the greatest, but I don't know where else the next hotel is. So I'm just crashing here. So
rather sleep in a bed than in the backseat of your car.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. I feel like in today's day and age, like the worst hotel is still better than the house I grew up in when I was younger. But, yeah. So like I said, the main concern for me is just like getting enough people there. Other than that, like I know they're going to have fun. I mean, axe throwing, face painting, balloon animals, like all the vendors that are going to be there. I mean, you could probably spend just an hour walking through and seeing all the booths, like visiting the food trucks, not to mention just the other activities we have. So,
will there be like signage on the road, on the main road?
Yeah, I really don't know what that
like A-frames and,
we probably are going to have someone standing at the corner with a sign like saying Cookie Fest, like this way.
Yeah.
At the busy corner down there.
Little Caesars guy.
Yeah.
Give
See
him
if
with the arrow thing, spin it.
just gotta spray paint a sign and just have them out there. Be like, hey man, when you get done with your job at Little Caesars, I got a job for you.
But yeah, going back to like the food fest thing, like that person said is, I think if you have it at a time and you invite the right amount of people and the companies and stuff, people will come.
Yeah.
100%.
My only concern is like, will companies that are like, oh, all the way up in Detroit, will they come, or
yeah, why not?
yeah, I guess if it
it's
was like a big enough event.
Yeah, exactly. If you had like 20 to 30 like actual like vendors, like cookies, cakes, whatever kind of desserts
Yeah.
that involve cookies and make it a legit like cookie fest,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you come?
Yeah, that's true.
Exposure, brand exposure, all that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you probably get a lot of smaller local places wanting to do it too, because it helps get your name out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you can always do the cookie dunk at the end of it too. Like it can
Just for
always
fun.
be,
It doesn't have to be Guinness.
It can always be like Cookie Fest sponsored by Fat and Weird. And then we do a dunk at the end of it. The truth is, the reason that Guinness charges you so much money is because right now we're using their name to create something,
yes.
right? But once we have the record and we turn it into something big enough, they'll come to you. The tallest man doesn't call Guinness and go, hey, I'm the tallest man. I want to pay money to be in Guinness World Records. They come to him and they go, hey, you're the tallest man.
Yes.
So once you have set the record, if you tell them, hey, we're going to do it again next year, but like we're not paying you this kind of money, and like you can choose to come out and like be a part of this and update the record book, or
not.
We're just going to tell everyone we broke the record and your record book is a farce.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it would kind of go from there. But
yeah. Is there going to be a dunk tank?
There will be a dunk tank.
Or milk?
Yeah. So Ashley's working on a dunk tank for milk. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I think that she should just put water in it, because I feel like if you get dunked in milk, you're going to smell
There's showers there though.
Yeah, but bro,
it's going to soak
75 degrees outside in milk.
Well, yeah, that's just the milk's going to sit there.
Hey, by the end of the night, they'd be dunking you in cottage cheese, bro.
Probably.
It'd be buttermilk.
Yeah. All thick.
Yeah. It would not be the greatest.
You could just put water and put food coloring in there. White food coloring.
Lindsay said that in Hawaii, there was a food festival once a month called Eat the Streets, and food trucks from all over the island would come to one location, and there was a different theme every time: chocolate, bacon, etc. It was super cool and drew a pretty big crowd. A cookie version of that would be awesome. Yeah, I mean, the Tourism and Development Council for Panama City Beach, when we met with them, they're like, this is what we want in Panama City. Like, we don't want they don't want the MTV rap anymore. They don't want that.
They want family stuff.
Yeah, they want family-oriented, fun stuff. And so they said they would really help rally behind it next year if we wanted to do it again. So, people would just say, hey, are you going to make it annual? And I think at this point, it's just like, I need to see how this goes. You know, that's kind of like saying before someone has their first kid, like, are you ready for another? You're like, let me have this one first, and then I'll let you know.
It hasn't even popped out yet. But
yeah.
I think it's something that could be promising in the future.
Yeah. What are you most excited for? From a perspective of like not us, because obviously it's a different perspective. Like, what are you most excited about?
Just seeing an idea come to like fruition and just everything working, and seeing how much, everybody's worked on it and it paying off in the end. So
yeah, I think that's crazy. It's like, I didn't understand how much planning really went into an event like this. And Ashley, I mean, obviously I would not have been able to do this without Ashley, right? I mean, that's where her job is.
She's working her butt off
for the last 4 months, is like working on this. And she's been throwing some curveballs and some last minute stuff. But it's been really cool to see her from the event planning side of it. And I think she's also learned a lot about PR and marketing, because she's used to just planning an event and that it gets hyped on its own, either through the at home or the venue's marketing team or someone else. But this is kind of like her first go around of, hyping
social networking and actually in-person networking. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been interesting to see her, like, how she's had to overcome some of the things. She hates calling people, so that she had to like overcome some of those things.
Cold call.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and all of the amount of people that are trying to sign up as vendors now that they see, I think it's like, I guess the best way to put it is like people that want to invest in you before you've created your product, and then people that want to invest like now that they see you've
Correct.
created something successful. She said she's getting emails like 2-3 a day now. I want to be a vendor. I want to be a vendor. And it's like, well, thanks for reaching out now that we've already got like all these vendors. We have everything planned.
Yeah, you're pretty much like maxed out.
Yeah. And so she's told him like, you can't go in the t-shirts. We can't get you more. Like we've already ordered the tables and the tents and all that stuff. So like you can be a vendor. It's the same price. You got to bring all your own stuff now. So I guess that's the cost of waiting too long. You still get to be a part of it, but you're going to have to struggle a little bit more.
But for those, depends if it's a big or small company, like the bigger companies probably can afford that and just be like, oh yeah, we'll bring our own shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Allied New, I think, is bringing their Tesla.
Really?
Yeah. They're parking their Tesla like out by their booth.
Pretty cool.
So they have like a
people
wrapped
take pictures.
Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would expect nothing less.
Well, I mean, they do, like, so when Tesla came and recruited at the military base I was at, they brought a Tesla, obviously, and they like, everyone got in the Tesla and they're like, come work for Tesla.
Yeah.
Which it was for the production line, which
You don't want that.
I do not want to work on an assembly line. Like, that's not my kind of thing.
Yeah.
Big yearly cookie fest, but you could do a Fat and Weird sponsored monthly virtual event where the cookie companies could send you themed cookies. Yeah, that could work. I think that I just love in-person stuff. I mean, that's why I wanted to create the storefront for Fat and Weird, to like share that love like in person,
I don't know if everybody who's listening to this knows, but was that storefront intended to be the main storefront?
The store. So truthfully, I was like, I want a place where people can locally pick up their orders if they order. And then I would like a place that people could come get hot cookies. But I never meant for it to be like this, like a line out the door, busy storefront. Saturdays is actually pretty popping in there. A lot more than I ever expected. I always just wanted it to be like it was kind of just like an afterthought, really. But it serves a purpose. I think now seeing how well it does, like I do want to create like an actual flagship storefront that's like not at the end of a warehouse and stuff like that.
Somewhere with foot traffic and
somewhere that's like, people walk up and they go here to eat, or even just like it's an easier commute. Like we're kind of like off the road,
Yeah.
But I think that just like I have so many, me, my personality, I have like a million dreams, and it's really about like honing in on the alligator closest to the boat, as the analogy goes, because there's a million alligators in the water that I'm after, but I just got to take them, one at a time.
Yeah, you got to aim at the one that's closest.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I think everyone starts flying in on like Wednesday and Thursday. Like Hayden from Hydrodrug gets here tomorrow.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, you and Austin going to go golfing with me? And I was like, Austin could probably, there's no way I got time for this.
Is he bringing his clubs?
I don't know. I doubt you really have time to go golfing with him either, but
we're
you're probably
going to, if he stay until Sunday, we're getting a group to go, I think Sunday.
Yeah. They're actually making this a vacation for them. So him and his wife are coming without their kids. So they're doing a vacation. So, I mean, I'm sure he is. So, you can keep that in mind.
Cause I know Mike's coming. He's going to bring his clubs.
Yeah.
My dad's going to play. John's going to play.
I'm sure Tyler would play.
Yeah. So we could have like an 8. We all couldn't play together, but it'd be 2 groups.
Yeah. Could y'all turn it into a game? Like, I don't know a lot about golf, but couldn't you play like a...
You could play a group best ball or like something like that just to keep it fun.
Yeah. And it would make it move quicker too, right?
Yeah. Best ball makes it faster.
Essentially, everyone plays off of the best ball?
Best shot. Yeah.
Okay. So whoever gets the best shot, then everyone plays off of that best shot.
So all of you hit a shot and then you choose the best one and you just play from there until it's holed.
Okay. So essentially you eliminate like the guy that whiffs it over here, and then he's got to get it to the hole. Yeah. So how do you score that though? Or do you not really score it?
You score it. So like, let's say me and you are playing best ball.
Yeah.
And I hit a tee shot and then you hit a tee shot. That's only 1. The next shot's 2, 3.
Oh, okay. And you play off the best ball each time?
Yep. So I could miss the putt and you can make it, and it counts as a make.
For me and you.
For our team. We're a team.
Oh, a team. Okay.
Yeah,
okay. Got you.
Yeah.
So with 8 people, you could divide it up into like 2s and do best balls.
You could play, like a best ball cart.
Okay.
So you and your partner.
Yeah. Smart.
Yeah. There's a lot of things you can do with golf.
Yeah. I know there's other things, like, is scramble the right word for a golf?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's technically like best ball. It's a 4-man scramble.
Okay. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff I feel like I've seen. Like I've seen Tiger Woods do like scrambles and stuff. Isn't that how the Ryder Cup is, or no?
So they play Ryder Cup that way, and they also play alternate shot, and then they play solos too.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen the Ryder Cup that way, I feel like. I don't know anything about golf. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's pretty good though. You're
That
like,
is
hey,
good,
you
yeah.
know something, right? But no, what golf course y'all playing at?
I don't know. If we can get enough people, I think we'll probably play with Tyler at Bay Point maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the nicest one around here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the most scenic one. We played at the country club, Panama City Country Club, and it's just John said it's not the same from before
the hurricane, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, I had friends that lived out there. We used to take their golf carts out as kids at night. You know, it was a beautiful course.
Like
it
there's
really
no
was.
trees. It's wide open. Like
Yeah, and there was so many trees. It
Yeah.
was like, it was really beautiful.
it sucks to get on courses like that and know the potential that it had and
Yeah.
see it now, and you're just like, damn.
Yeah, and it's
I
not
wish.
even like their fault. You know, it's
Yeah,
like they cut a
exactly.
bunch of trees down or somebody did something stupid. It's like a hurricane came
Yeah.
through and took it all out. I mean, the whole like clubhouse used to be like there was like these huge oak trees all around the clubhouse, and the clubhouse is on the water. And now it's just like you can see the clubhouse from a mile away because there's like no trees around it. I mean, those oak trees were probably like hundreds of years old. Like you don't get that back. Not in at least 5 to 10 years. I mean, that's like 20 years down the road. It's like starting to look good. That's why all those like homes in Georgia, like those old Southern homes that people get married in, that have like the big oaks that overdo the.
What are those trees the moss trees or whatever it's called?
There's oaks. There's oaks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oaks.
Mossy oak.
Yeah.
So, but
It's a hunting brand, right?
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's based on the fact that like moss is growing on the oak trees. But yeah, so what do y'all have anything else planned for Cookie Fest, or is it just like y'all do anything
I don't
Thursday,
think so.
Friday? Your parents get in on Thursday or
They
Friday?
get here tomorrow night
Oh, Wednesday night.
at 11 p.m.
Oh, that's the one that Hayden's on.
Oh, really?
He's like, I need a ride to the rental car place. And I was like, oh, I'll get up, I guess. But it's like, well, Austin's going to be up and about. So they have to go to Hertz on 15th Street because the Hertz rental car at the airport was rented out.
Oh,
Yeah. I was like, why don't they just like give them a car?
Yeah, I don't know.
how that works, you know, especially ahead of time, like just get a card. To them.
yeah. That's I
Anyway.
don't understand.
Yeah. So, so they get in on Wednesday night
Mm-hmm.
late. Let's see, Thursday, a bunch of the influencers get in and we can check them into the hotel or the
Airbnb.
the houses. Yeah.
Okay.
On Thursday. So we'll probably have to go early and like set up
What time's check-in?
4.
4.
Yeah.
What time do they get in?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They can't get in until 4. So
Yeah.
I think I'll have to talk to Ashley, but I think our plan is like go set up little like goodie bags for all of them, you know, put their names on the rooms. Cause if you don't, they're just going to like go in and claim rooms.
Yeah,
And
the Jersey Shore method, first to arrive gets the best
and
rooms.
that's not at all how this works. So
that's
yeah.
great.
And then Friday we, hopefully, I still don't know if we're going out on the boat.
The boat, yeah. I feel like that's gonna be a last minute thing.
Yeah. So hopefully we're going out on like a sunset cruise from 4 to 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, we'll be coming back here to Fat and Weird and doing like a small little catered meal,
Nice.
tour of the building. Everyone's going to be able to make their own cookie, kind of like
Nice.
hangout thing. Because there's only like 18 people. It's like a really, really small influencer group. So
Yeah, it's not the 60.
no, it's not.
list
It's not the whole list. It's like it's the people that we really wanted to invite, and I think that the list kind of expanded because it turned into like everyone we invited and they're like their media team
Their
or
posse.
like people they wanted to bring.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's cool. Like I'm fine with them coming here and they're staying in the house, but like this is who the people invited are. You know,
Yeah.
not their whole group.
The posse.
You know? Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is.
The clan.
So that'll be Friday, and then Saturday, obviously, I think probably from like 7 a.m. on, I'll be out there like helping get ready. I know Ashley's just like,
what time are you guys getting out there? Like what's your plan for Saturday if you have a plan yet?
I mean, I think that I'll probably get out there between like 7 and 8 a.m. and just be like, what do you want me to do, Ashley? I know she doesn't want me involved. She she used to do summer shreddings for Christian.
Yep.
And the whole idea was that Christian didn't have to do anything. He just got told where to be and when to be there. I'm just not that kind of person. You know, I like to be involved in that stuff. Like the last thing I want to be is not helpful, you know? So, I don't know. I'll just be whatever's available, you know, whatever they need. And then, you know, the event will end at 4. So we'll have to wrap up everything. Probably, everyone will probably just like hang out that night. I'm sure the houses will be a good time to just like barbecue at the houses or like hang out at the house. And then Sunday we'll have to get everything ready for checkout by like 10 or 11, I think.
Which that shouldn't be hard.
No.
Just ask them to take the sheets off and Put them by the doors.
Yeah, if that's even like, I'd have to go check. Some of them don't even have that requirement because of like how nice those houses are. Like they do everything for you. And then I think we're gonna try to do a breakfast on Sunday for like Twitch people.
Oh, okay. Like a Twitch meetup.
Yeah, M Hutter, it's Kate, like all those people that we know that are coming down for this. We're gonna do like a little Twitch breakfast, I think, on Sunday, because a lot of them said they don't fly out until Sunday afternoon, and they didn't fly in until late Friday, so they couldn't do like a Friday morning breakfast. And then we obviously have plans in the evening, so yeah, we'll do like a little breakfast, and then from then on out, it's gonna be full back into the Airbnb situation. We got
that mess, but
yeah, I know it is a mess. It's going to be a big change. I mean, you get some footage, I'm sure, of it over there. But right now, it's just like the amount of tile on the ground. I was like,
it's like you're walking on glass.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It's loud.
Yeah. Everywhere I walked, I felt like I went to, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it like Jewish weddings where they like smash the plates on the ground?
I think so.
Or is it bar mitzvahs?
It's something. It's one of those.
Yeah, but I felt like I was at a really big one of those because there was just tile everywhere.
It just sounded like plates breaking. Yeah.
Yeah, and as I was walking, it was just like crush, crush, crush. Yeah. And of course, I was in my Crocs, so
of course, yeah.
I was like, I don't need a shard of tile going through my Crocs, so I probably should just not walk around in here. But yeah, I just wanted to see it. Like they got most of it up, and tomorrow morning they're gonna pull up the toilets, finish the bathrooms, get all the tile out, and then grind the floors, and then do the epoxy. And they said that they're going to be done by like 4 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. I hope so, because I really need them to be done tomorrow, because it really will put a hurting on our timeline. And then Thursday, the painters will move from the B side to the A side. Mm-hmm. They said they're going to need it tomorrow probably in there again to do the rest of the paint. So
yeah. With the Airbnb, do you think that you could have, I guess, done this alone, or do you think Tyler and Emily have been like a big help and like the perfect people to kind of kickstart you?
Yeah, Tyler and Emily have definitely been a big help as far as like, one, they already have the listing up because they already have listings, so they didn't have to go through like the process, and they're already like considered a super host. So that's like a good thing that you automatically are being listed in. Two, like they knew the contractor that's helping do some of the work that we couldn't do on our own. And that's really helpful because I didn't have a residential contractor. And then, a final thing is just like, there's a few things that they've been able to handle and take off of Aubrey and I's plates. Like I handled the floor, I handled the painters, I handled all that stuff, but then they, in the kitchen and stuff like that, but they helped us, like, Emily and Aubrey sat down and came up with like the list of things they needed, and they ordered that stuff. They're handling Aubrey and Emily are handling the furniture and things like that. I don't think Aubrey alone would have been able to do it. So, I definitely appreciate that. And just from the standpoint of, like I was telling you before, we're going in on that other Airbnb that they have.
Yep.
So we'll be partners in that one. So we'll together, own 2 Airbnbs so that we share. So it's like you each own one, but the beautiful thing is, if something goes wrong, you have someone else's help, and you're not losing all the money from the entire duplex. So like if I owned a whole duplex and something happened in the A side, B side, or like something happened that compromised both sides, I'm out like all of the income that I would be. Whereas now I'm only out like half the income, and I have another person helping me do it. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like in the stock market, like, not investing all your eggs in one basket. You're like putting a little bit into this basket and a little bit in this basket. So if this basket goes down, but this one goes up, you're not really out money. But if you had everything in that basket and it went down, then it could be bad. Mm-hmm. It's inversely. If you had all your money in one basket and it went up a lot, that's a great thing. But, it's gambling.
Yeah.
I like to hedge my bets. So
yeah, I just think for like a first time, Airbnb rental property, like you need to, unless you know what you're doing, like getting with somebody who knows going in, like there's nothing wrong with splitting a property, especially if you don't know what you're doing or like you don't have the time.
Right. And there's less financial burden on you as well too.
Correct.
Right. So I think that's another beautiful thing. It's like, what we bought that Airbnb for, 20% down would be $70,000. And so that's a lot of money to put down. But if you have a partner,
a lot of money.
If you have a partner, it's $35,000 each. Yeah. So, just small stuff like that. You don't necessarily have to fork over that stuff up front. You do make less money in the long run because you are splitting it. But like I said, if you,
it's still money.
Yeah. Well, and if you had 70,000 instead of buying one, buy 2 with them, and then you have 2 operating, But yeah, it's just always the way I think about things, is trying to do things like with redundancy and backups and stuff like that.
Yeah, because Tyler and he was there today when I was there, and he was talking about the properties and all that. And, it's like once you clear your like overhead and all your mortgages off, it's like you just like technically created another you working like a 40-hour full-time job for income.
Yeah. Yeah.
You made yourself another version of yourself that's working, while the real self can just go do whatever you want.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's what, like why passive income is like so important, is because that's why like creating LUTs for a videographer, or creating, presets, and why people sell courses and tutorials where they don't have to do anything, is because then it's like you did all this work up front, but it's going to make you money like forever without you really having to do anything.
Yeah.
So
I thought I heard Miley barking, but she's right here.
yeah, I heard knocking. I think it's Emery might be cleaning something.
Okay,
she was knocking stuff,
okay.
But yeah, so I think that, that's why it's important to, figure out other ways to make money. They say that the average millionaire has like 6 or 7 income sources. And I was talking with someone about this the other day. And so I think a lot of people get confused, and they think, in order to be a millionaire, I need 6 or 7 income sources. I think the truth is, in order to be a millionaire, you need one good source of income, and then you need to be smart with how you invest that income, right?
Yes.
You can buy cars, you can buy clothes, you can go out to eat, all that stuff, but that's not going to make you money. So if you take that money and you invest it into the stock market, you take that money and you invest it into real estate, you take that money and you invest it into new companies or projects. That's why millionaires have 6 or 7 sources of income. It's not because they need that source of income. It's because they've taken their main source of income and then they've diversified it
so that
other ways.
Can make more income, and then that makes income, and then that. It's just stacking itself on top of each other.
And something I was like, why do our parents not own more houses? Like, they've all been told, like, I'm sure your parents, if you ask them, they would tell you debt's bad. Like, don't have debt, like pay off your debt.
Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah. My mom used to pay like double house payments on like whenever they had extra money, they'd put it on the house payment. Yeah. And it's so wrong. It's such a terrible philosophy. It made sense because back in the 80s and 90s, when my parents were buying houses, the interest rates on a house was like 13%. So yeah, definitely like pay double, pay triple.
Yeah.
Like whatever you can do to pay that down, because 13% is a lot. Mm-hmm. But house marketing now, like the interest rates are like 4%.
Yeah.
Maybe. Some of them are like 3%. Mm-hmm. Don't pay that down a lot. Yeah. Your money can make more money elsewhere.
Pay your minimal.
Yeah. But that's what I've told you with your student loans. Like anything below like 5%, like don't worry about trying to be aggressive paying it off. Like pay off the 8, 9, 10% stuff. But like, in 6 too, I would say, cause that's kind of high still, but like 5 and below, like, you can make more money with that money doing other things for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. And I see both sides. It's like one is like, yes, you can make money, but then again, it's like you can pay off if you do, you put your income towards paying that off as quick as you can. It's like, what's 1 to 2 years of, your money working for you? And it could be a lot, or it could be, it only depends a 500 difference. It's right. It's the risk.
Yeah. And, like I said, there is risk, right? But, you can say, okay, well, if I would have put that extra $500 in, this is obviously just speculative, but if I would put that extra $500 in Bitcoin back in the day, then that $500 is now, $20,000. So I think that's the difference. Is it really only makes sense to not pay down your debt if you have another place for your money to make you money. Correct. If your money's just going to sit in a bank account, a savings account earning like 0.2%, then yeah, sure, pay it off quickly because your money's not doing anything for you. But if you have something else you can do with your money, then obviously do that. But I think a lot of people, they go, I have $100,000 saved up, but I have this student loan for, $50,000, but I'm making minimum payments on it. And it's like, well, if you're not going to take that $100,000 and like do something that's going to earn you money with it, then yeah, pay off the student loan 100%, just put all that money towards it, because otherwise you are not doing, like, you're not making money with it. It's kind of like the idea of, it's just like, if you decide like, oh, I can go out and work and make money, or I can sit at home and make less money. It's like, well, yeah, it's fine. If you're fine with just sitting at home making that amount of money, then yeah, just sit at home. But if you're like, I want the extra money, then go out and work.
Get it, yeah.
But if you're not willing to go out and work, or you're not willing to let your money work for you, then yeah, just sit at home. You know, let it be. But
and I think kids my age, I see a lot of couples who are engaged or married already that are young, that are buying homes and buying houses, and I'm just kind of like, what? Like, that's kind of expensive. But at the same time, it's like, if you have your stuff together, and you know, if you can make that down payment, and what's the PMI? Yeah. Because like, you don't have to do 20%, but that PMI is
kind of money you're throwing away. But at the same time, if you're buying a home that's building up its worth, and it's not really a throwaway, you know?
Yeah. Have you thought about, I thought about this, is like, let's say you can't put 20% down, you can put 15% down. Instead of getting PMI, why don't you just take out a loan for $5,000?
Because a lot of time, how are you going to get that loan?
I don't know.
Well, you got a loan for that percentage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, unless you are willing to like,
unless someone else is like takes a loan, like if you have like your spouse or something takes that loan, and then you get like cash, and your cash payment is down.
Yeah. So the real thing is just, how do you get that other loan? Is because if you're trying to get from a bank, they're going to be like, well, what are you going to give me? Like, bank wants leverage, like something on the other end of a loan. Like, if you go to a bank and you have $100,000 in your bank account, they'll give you a loan, but they're going to like lock up your bank account, or make it so like you can't it has to have a certain amount in that bank account,
like,
right?
Fall below 50,000 or whatever.
Yeah. So say that's a rule. Or like, if I wanted a loan right now for like, say $1 million, I would have to be like, yeah, like, you can put a loan against my building, meaning if I don't pay you back, you can take my building.
Oh shit. Okay.
So that's how loans work in life. And that's why, you know, as bad as this sounds, is like the rich get rich quicker, right? Because if I have a net worth of $10 million and I have no debt, I can go borrow $10 million and buy something that will generate me a lot of income. If you only have a net worth of $100,000,
you only have that much spending.
That's all you got. Yeah, exactly. You know, you can't.
Or if you have a net worth of 50 or 20.
Right. So at the end of the day, it's like the rich can get richer because you can invest that money back into things that make you money. And the more money you can invest in things, the more you make money quickly, right? If you invest $10,000 into something that's 10% interest, you earn $1,000. Well, if you invest $100 million in something that's 10% interest, then you've made $10 million.
Yeah.
And so when you really start thinking about things on scale, like, that's why the rich get richer, right? Because the more money you have, the more that compounding effect takes place. You know, going from $1 million to $1 billion can really happen in less than 30 years if you are getting an average return of 15%. Yeah. Think about that. $1 million to $1 billion, 30 years. So
$1 billion's a lot.
I know. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
So, but yeah, I think that's the real trick, is that like the hardest part with anything in life is getting that first bit, getting the first 10,000 followers, getting the first 1,000,000 followers, getting the first $1 million, you know, whatever. That's the hard part. And then after that, it makes it easier because you have that money to like move around and play with and mess with. I don't think it makes it easy, period. It just makes it easier.
Yeah.
Easier.
And I think that's something that you see a lot today, is just the amount of startups and stuff like that and small businesses. And, you know, it helps to have events like Cookie Fest like this, where small businesses can come out and show who they are to, you know, the thousands of people. And, you know,
there's a company that reached out to us called Cookie Cups that are coming. They make cups that are like ceramic, but they're like shaped like this. Okay. So you can dunk like fat cookies like ours.
So they're like
into
wide.
It. Yeah. So they're coming to the event. They saw us. Someone like one of the cookie review pages did something. Someone tagged Fat and Weird in it. And then I commented on the cookie cup thing, and then they're like, oh, they're in Orlando. They're like, we want to come to your event. I was like, okay, come on. So they're a vendor at the event now. So, yeah. And I think that, you know, Cookie Fest could turn into a thing that, you know, allowed a lot of, you know, breakout cookie companies. Because at the end of the day, like, anyone can start a cookie company. That's why there's so many of them. I've already talked about that. There's the barrier to entry is very easy. You can do a lot of stuff at home if you're not shipping, and if you are shipping, I think they just changed the college food laws in Florida, and you can ship now in Florida out of your home kitchen.
Oh wow!
With just a few things. I think you have to still get it inspected per se, but like
inspected air quotes. Yeah.
it's not nearly as hard as it used to be. So, when that kind of stuff happens, it's just more people can come up and contend for a great cookie company. So that's why, motive is way different. Like if you want to start a clothing company, like good luck. It's way more expensive, way more time consuming. You got to have a lot more money behind it. So the more expensive an idea is to create, the less competition you're going to have at scale, because
not everybody's doing it. Yeah.
Not everyone can afford to do it, So it's like get into, rental markets, like less people are doing that than are doing, this. And then you start getting into
Etsy shops,
get into apartment complexes, then get into massive
hotels,
hotel type things.
Condos.
As you build in size, less and less players are involved because the amount of capital that's required to do those things. So it's kind of like locking people out of the ability to even try to do it because they don't have the finances to do it.
Yeah. No, but I was just thinking is like, Cookie Fest reminds me of this thing in the sneaker community. It's called Sneaker Con, and they have it in different cities, like 4 or 5, 6 times throughout the year. And there's like Phoenix, Dallas, Minneapolis. They just
major
go travel.
cities, right? Yeah.
And that would be, eventually it probably started out just like how it is it's people come, they sell shoes, and, they have people who are famous in the sneaker community, celebrities.
So what you're saying is I need to trademark Cookie Fest.
Yeah, I definitely would.
Yeah. Well, luckily you don't have to rush to trademark things, because when you're the first in use, someone else can't just come and be like, oh, that's a great idea, I'm going to trademark it. You can be like, no, I used it first. Mm-hmm. So we kind of are like set there by doing that. So yeah, I mean,
I think that could be like eventually, if you look back.
So you're saying like we could
years,
franchise Cookie Fest as the idea of Cookie Fest could become a franchise.
Correct.
That's cool.
So like there can be a Dallas Cookie Fest. There can be but the Panama City one is the original and could be the biggest, but it's like Dallas is like, all right, Dallas people, let's see it, people from Texas. Like,
I heard you do it bigger in Texas. Let's see what you got.
Exactly.
Man, I feel like you've been hanging out with me too much. You're just coming up with some ideas over
more
here.
Business driven now.
Money making moves.
No, it's funny. I noticed that the other day. I was in the gym and Adam Paget came up to me and he's like, yeah, think about selling my golf cart and I don't know. And I'm like, because they're going to get rid of their house and build another one. I was like, well, keep it with the house and then charge the people extra to rent it or rent it in the neighborhood. And then once you get the money to buy a new one, just sell it to those people. And then you have your money to buy a new one. And he was like, who you been hanging out with? I'm like, who do you think?
So it's like Turo.
Yeah, exactly.
For the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Rent the golf cart.
Exactly.
That's
like
actually,
if a family moves in and they don't have a golf cart, you'd be like, you can rent mine or you can buy it.
No, it is smart. Yeah. I mean, it is. Yeah, I definitely have rubbed off on you. It's a cool thing, but it's also a bad thing because all you start thinking about is like, I wonder what the way to spin this to make this make money. It's like the podcast when we first talked about it. I was like, oh, how are we going to make money off the podcast? And then I was like, you know what? I need to do something that I enjoy and not for just money. But
we've made on Anchor, it tells you how much you've made, and it's 0, 0, 0.
Oh, yeah.
But I think we hit 1,000 listens, or we're right there. So
well, hey, congratulations to us.
Yeah,
yeah.
I definitely didn't think it was going to be as successful as it. I had hopes, but I didn't think that a lot of people were going to listen just because of, I don't know.
It's just us guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's truth. But I mean, so I guess like to round it all up, Cookie Fest is technically a business. It maybe will break even this year. It definitely is not going to be like a huge money maker because of the Guinness. I mean, Guinness was $40,000 just to be transparent on that. Like that's really expensive. It's hard to overcome that price when you start taking into account, we also had to pay for people to come down here. We had to pay for, like some of the stuff like the A50 axe throwing, like we had to pay for the bounce houses. We had to pay for that stuff. We had to pay for, the volunteers, not the volunteers, but the like actual people working the event. We had to pay for trash, the venue itself. So it's really hard to be profitable when you're down 40,000 from the get-go. But I think that next year we can make it like a profitable event from like a business standpoint. But at the end of the day, I'm just doing it for the fun of it.
Yeah, exactly. And it just goes to show you is like the first time you do something, it may not be the way you want to turn out, whether it's, the goal you have is not what you wanted monetarily. It's not what you wanted, but that doesn't mean you should quit. Like if it's successful and people like it and everyone's like, oh, dang, we missed out. It's like, there you have it. If your event was successful, then.
Yeah, we'll see you next year then.
Exactly.
All right. Derek's not here.
Yeah.
So we need a would you rather. So do you have one off the top of your head or do I need to try to look one up real quick? I love that. I have that one website. I just always close it down. It's like, would you rather? Would you rather questions? These are all conversation starters, so they're not nearly as graphic because you don't start a conversation with "Would you rather like pee out your nose?" or.
So for you, I think this is just for you. I just kind of came up with this. Would you rather have someone like a big company buy you out right now, or keep doing what you're doing for 15-ish years and slowly climb that like monetarily ladder? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like you've reached your goal at the time you want, 40, which I know that like you've reached that goal, but
Right.
you know, you're fat and we're still here and it's slowly and it's still kind of yours.
Yeah. Truthfully, because Aubrey and I have so much going on, I would take someone buying out if it was the right. I mean, if it was like for a fair, like right price for family, I would probably do that just because Aubrey and I also have motive. We still have the coaching. I want to see
Airbnb now.
Yeah, the Airbnb going. I would take it just because I feel like sometimes I already don't do everything very well because I'm pulled in so many directions. It's hard to explain. I definitely have this like overwhelming feeling sometimes that like because I'm doing so much, I don't do it very well, and then there's just not enough time in the day to do everything. So, yeah, I would probably say like, hey, God's given me like a good out, and like I should take it and
open that door.
Yeah, and just go forward there.
Yeah.
But I mean, so I guess I could say the same for you. Like, what if, you know, it's hard to imagine, but like say 5 years from now, you've grown your media company to maybe you having like, you know, 15, 20 clients, and you have like 3 people that work for you, and you get approached by a larger, you know, media marketing company, and they're like, hey, we want to take over your clients. We want to buy your equipment. And then, you know, we want to bring on your employees as contractors, and you know, we just want you to, you know, step away from this. Like, or would you rather grow your company for 20 years, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that all depends on a situation, but it's like with a company like that, if like it's with people who you bring up and like all of that, it's like you want to see them success. And it's like if somebody's in that position where it's like, hey, it's your turn now, like it's all you, I'm going to step back and kind of do that. But it would be cool that if someone was like, hey, you know, we want to bring you and your team on. Yeah. It's like, hell yeah.
Yeah. They acquire you, but then they bring you on. Yeah. Most people would probably do, like if someone bought Fat and Weird, they wouldn't let Aubrey and I go. We would have to negotiate a salary, and it would probably be for like 2 to 3 years where we had to like slowly.
It's probably more of like the advertising thing too, is like, because you guys drive so much traffic. It's like, if you just quit all of a sudden, they would lose a lot of their marketing. And
I'm sure that's part of it, you know, but also just the part of it is just like, could you imagine if you were just like gone tomorrow, like trying to explain to anyone like how to do what you do? You know, I mean, don't take it, you know, for granted. Like I know you do some stuff on the website. I know that you know, do the QR codes, and I know like all that stuff that you do with Fat and Weird, getting stuff ready for launch. So like, you know, even if we were going to be bought out, like you would, you know, you couldn't just disappear. You know, you'd have to turn over. Yeah, it would have to be a turnover process. Sometimes it's a year, sometimes 2 or 3 years. Just it really depends. And I'll ask you one about this one. This one's so funny to me, but would you rather be given a new BMW now, or be given a truly epic $2 million mausoleum after you die? So essentially, would it matter to have materialistic things now, or would you want a huge like statue remembrance of you, but you would never see? You would never see it.
I don't know. I feel like that's just so loaded.
It's the difference is, would you rather have a smaller gratification in the moment, or would you rather have like I mean, because at the end of the day, people would, they'd be like, whoa.
Yeah, but they'd be like, who the fuck is that? Why does he have that?
But someone just had to be like, well, it's Austin Ronick.
They'd be like, oh, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in small town Iowa or something like that.
It's in the town center of Des Moines.
That's a big town center. That's the capital, dude. I don't deserve that.
Would you rather be a human brain in a robot body, or have your brain enhanced with a computer in your human body? So essentially, would you rather be like a cyborg, where you're like literally a human being, but you're a robot, or would you rather be fully human but enhanced?
Enhanced.
Yeah, me too.
Because then it's still my mind and my body.
Well, I
Just
guess
a little tweak.
Well, the difference would be like if you're a robot, you would be like super strong, probably super fast, like all that stuff. But if you were just enhanced, you'd just be super smart. So the question is, would you rather be super smart or super strong, fast, and everything else?
I'd rather be smart.
Yeah, me too. I would go in Jeopardy. Crush it. I would just crush
win.
it. I would crush it.
What if there's, I don't know.
What are they going to do? You can't go on here. You're enhanced.
If everybody's enhanced though, then.
Yeah, but that's not the question. It's not saying everyone.
Yeah, I know. Just assuming.
Anyway. All right. That's it. I would agree with you on that though.
Yeah.
I would go in Jeopardy. I do see the perks of like being super strong, but it's like, I doubt they're going to let you play football.
Yeah.
You know, like
A robot.
I mean, okay, so better question. What if no one knew either of those things? Which one would you pick? If no one knew either.
But how do you hide that you're a robot, that you're indestructible?
But I mean, what if you're like a cyborg, like you have skin, like you're like the Terminator style. Like you look like a human, but you're a cyborg.
I would still do the smart.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what you'd make more money off of.
Back to making money off of things that don't need to be.
Yeah, well, my mind goes like, which one would probably yield me the most amount of money?
They'd probably put you on the front lines. Like, this is our fucking undefeatable soldier. Good luck.
Yeah, that's true. And then a rocket would just, impulse, just shut you down.
Exactly.
I don't know. See, I feel like I could sign a football contract. I'd be a running back that was unstoppable.
Yeah. But then they'd be like, bro, what? And then they drug test you and they realize that you pissed oil.
Damn. See, I
Yeah.
couldn't be a football player.
Yeah.
I guess I'll have to pick the mind
Smart.
one.
Because then you could like dumb yourself down to still look smart and then no one would catch you.
Yeah.
You can't do that in a robot body.
Well, I mean, does Elon Musk dumb himself down? He doesn't. He's still just a genius.
If you didn't want people to know, and if you wanted to like keep it low key, you could still be super smart, but not like to the point where people are like,
yeah, like how did he just
this-
search the entire internet in 2 seconds?
Exactly. Like the geofinding people place.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're ever bored, look up geofinders.
What do you think the most amount of money you could make from that would be? Because I mean, if you think about it, if you're that smart, you could be a lawyer, right? And you could be like a premium lawyer. Like you could be a neurosurgeon because you're obviously like insanely
You could
smart.
be anything.
Right?
You could do anything.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think I just imagine what my life would be like if that actually existed.
Super smart.
With superpowers. Like I'm always like, what is it like? Anyways. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us on the BA podcast today.
Yeah. Thank you guys.